Hello folks, I am Appfielder and this is Completely Average Minecraft, where you come to feel less inadequate about your own Minecraft worlds. The place where we start amazing builds but never finish them. Our block palette is whatever we have to hand, and each build bears no resemblance to the last. In short, I play Minecraft like a completely normal player. Anyway, we're into the third episode today and I'm covering days 200 to 300, which means that this series easily outlasts British Chancellors and at the rate I'm going, Prime Ministers too. In the last episode, I spent a lot of time in a deep, dark hole. Get your minds out of the gutter, I was building a slime farm, which is half complete. I added more layers to the creeper farm, which is 1/3 complete, but working pretty well. And I did some villager trading to get my tools and my armor sorted, which also isn't complete. Which brings me on to today's episode. Days 200 to 209. I like the free-range villagers, but let's be honest, it's a pain. So I've made a plan. Don't worry, it's only a small one. Even average Minecrafters make plans, we just don't follow them. I'm going to create 3 small villager trading halls containing farmers, clerics, and stonemasons, which should solve most of my immediate problems. Now, if you're wondering why this footage starts on day 204, it's because I forgot to press record. Which is sad, because to figure out where to place my build, I stood on top of my creeper farm and used free cam. Phantom spawned and then knocked me to my doom, so that's 2 deaths for the series if you are keeping count. Anyway, I decided to place my free trading halls exactly where there was a desert hill. So the first task is to bring that down and level the area. Although after 7 days of mining sand, I was bored and wanted to do something else, so I decided between all that sand and the creeper farm, I had exactly the right materials to go get some netherite to upgrade my tools and armor. See, TNT mining in the nether is rather fun. I ended up with a whole 8 ingots, which covered pretty much all the tools and the armor that I wanted to upgrade. Days 209 to 213, flush with my netherite gear, I continued the grind of flattening the hill. I made a mental note to keep an eye on my gear, which I promptly forgot, and broke my flashy netherite pickaxe at the first attempt. With no spare netherite ingots, it was back into the nether to do some more explosive destruction and create myself a brand new netherite pickaxe. Yo, days 214 to 214, yes, you heard that right, it was the same day, I finished flattening the hill. Days 214 to 222, it was time to get to work on this place. I struggled to design stuff in survival, so I spent some time in a creative world coming up with a build. All that blue and red stuff you've been seeing, that's the Litematica, which, by the way, will be available on my website, appfielder.com, along with 500 plus other Litmatics. Advertising over. Whilst I'm at it though, if you made it this far, then hit that subscribe button. Rumour has it, if you don't, then you're getting coal for Christmas. Though with the price of gas this year, that's actually pretty decent present. Then day 215, a wandering trader appeared. Now, if you saw episodes 1 or 2, you'll know that having one appear after 15 days is a marvellous stroke of luck. Plus, he sold spruce saplings and blue ice. So happy with this, I even left him alive for one night. Don't blame me, blame the Minecraft mechanics. I need more wandering traders. Anyway, this build uses a decent amount of oak wood, so towards the end of this period, I flattened a completely different area near the creeper farm to grow some trees. Put some slabs over the top so we don't get those excessively large oak trees that are an absolute pain to mine. These 222 to 224, I fancied a change of pace, so it was time to add a couple more layers to the creeper farm. I think we're up to 9 of 31 now. Days 224 to 238 were spent getting to work building the trading halls, and this is actually quite a large build, and I vastly underestimated, as per usual, how long this might take. Though, as you can see from the footage, I actually planned the entire area and it's looking rather nice. Although the planning, as I said, I'm not great. I gave nowhere near enough thought about where I placed this build in the surrounding areas. So now the iron farm looks out of place and the village is also probably going to be in the way of my future plans. But those are problems for a completely different episode. Days 239 to 244, I continued to work on the build and then a miracle happened. we got a second wandering trader. Though, of course, he sold absolutely nothing useful. I'm not counting rooted dirt as useful. So he was promptly dispatched to another place. Days 244 to 247, I needed a break from building, and my shulker situation was in need of resolution. You see, the problem with a desert-only world is there's no scaffolding and there's no snow, both of which are pretty much in every good shulker shell farm you can find. But with the help of Bonehead, there are some alternatives that are, well, they're much slower, but I'll look to build one of those in future. Anyway, without a farm, I went and raided 4 or 5 cities the old-fashioned way to fill up my ender chest with shulkers and get some spares left over just to haul materials around. And then we had another miracle. Another wandering trader. That's 3 for the episode so far. And this one, he didn't sell great stuff, but he did sell brown dye, which is pretty useful. There's no way to get it on a desert-only world other than the wandering trader. Still, you know what happens next. Days 248 to 253, and I continued my work on the trading halls. At this point, they're pretty much 2/3 finished, but I did not think my plans through. The ceilings on these builds are pretty low, so it's actually easier to now go and get the villagers in here, populate them, and then complete the build. This is where my average Minecrafter comes to the fore. You see, to do this, I now need another build so I can get the right villagers in here, and then I can do this. So that's the plan. We're going to go and do something completely different. Days 253 to 255 were spent working on a build that I like to call the House of Horrors. You see, my plan is to industrialize the process of unlocking a villager's trades. So from this house, I'll press a button. A villager will arrive where I can encourage him to lower the price of his trades, unlock those trades, and if they're what I want, press a button, send him to one of the trading halls, and if it's not what I want, then I can send them, somewhere nice and happy to live out their days, or suffocate them in a wall and return the minecart back to the breeder. It's a tough choice. Days 255 to 262, with the House of Horrors at least 90% complete, I decided it was time to build a potato farm. Farmer Village has been the first that I want to get populated in the trading halls that we haven't finished, so I can get plenty of emeralds for, well, the other villagers. Anyway, I left this build at 90% complete as well on account of the fact that, well, I forgot to set up the lighting rigs. That's a problem for another episode. I think at this point I should just start each episode with a list of projects and their completion status. Days 262 to 267, I returned to the House of Horrors, actually wanting to finish the build for once. So what I did here was build the tunnels that would ferry the minecarts and the villagers about, and then I set about testing the process, which sadly involved the loss of life for an innocent villager. Not my fault. Though at least these ones won't get added to my stats for villagers killed, so I have deniability about my treatment of villagers. Then we got another miracle. Another wandering trader. Our third one? I think it's our third of the episode. And this one sold proper ghouls and packed ice. So that's spruce, oak, and mango wood. That's not bad going in one episode. But yes, you know what happens next. Days 269 to 272, I started work on the farmer villagers. You see, I want each farmer to purchase carrots, potatoes, pumpkins, and melons. If they don't, then... Then, in my haste to complete the project, it turned out I accidentally left a block in the wrong place, causing the untimely death of my breeding pair. So, of course, I had to replace them. Still, it had to be said, those two lived fantastic lives, breeding twice daily, the lucky devils. Days 272 to 275, I did more trading with the villagers, and I transported the first one to his permanent home. I rather enjoy the track layout. You may have seen my short. It's keeping me very, very amused. Then I hit a gold shortage. So instead of building the farm at this point, I went off in search of a bastion where, amazingly, I didn't die. Although at this point I really need to get an infinity bow. I've got a bow, but I never have arrows for it, and that's a pain in a bastion, trust me. Days 275 to 278, the need for gold is too great to rely on bastions, so it's time to build a gold farm. How many projects have we started in this episode? For this, I'm going to build the old Il Mango donut design. Still works, doesn't need turtle eggs, and doesn't need scaffolding. What it does need though is an absolute ton of magma blocks. So I spent the days flying around the nether looking for these magma veins and collecting the other resources required to build the farm. Days 278 to 285. Before we get into what I actually did during these days, let me tell you a little story. You see, I might forget the basic mechanics of Minecraft from time to time. Just the other day, I forgot that wither skeletons didn't die in lava. But what I am is a pretty good flyer. I believe the only rockets you need are tier 3. Everything else is a complete waste of time. This does, however, occasionally lead to situations like this. Anyway, after a change of pants, I got onto building the gold farm. You see, I remember building this farm without Litematica many years ago, and honestly, it took hours. For a time-pressed person such as myself, Litematica is the god of mods. Days 285 to 291, I finished building the gold farm, and then I pushed 4 zombie piglins, now known as Joey, because I name all my mobs after Friends characters, into position, then got myself some of that sweet gold and that sweet XP as well. Now at some point in the future I do need to fix the collection system, getting overloaded with like the gold swords and zombie flesh, but it'll do for now, so I think we can call that project 95% complete. For the rest of the days I took that gold and I went back to the House of Horrors and I unlocked the traders and put more farmers into position. Then disaster struck. You see, a series of small planning errors led me here. I forgot to get a villager discount all the way down, so decided to get the zombie in place. Unfortunately, I forgot to sort my exit, and I gave this guy a sharpness 5 sword. So this happened. Thank God it isn't a hardcore series. It also takes quite a lot of time to get a zombie in a desert, so this guy was wearing all my gear, which sadly meant I had to kill him. Fortunately, the second attempt, that went much smoother. Days 291 to 300 were mainly spent trying to get a Fletcher villager that sold arrows of weakness, which sadly it didn't happen. But 2 miracles occurred during this time, but I actually paused the recordings whilst I was doing that villager train because it's really dull and it takes up gigabytes of hard drive space. I actually missed one of these wandering traders and I only got the one that sold me birch. The other one, he sold me jungle wood. So in one episode, I've got spruce, mango, jungle, and birchwood sorted. The only things I really need from them now are dark oak and moss blocks. So, there we have it, folks. At the end of 300 days in a single episode, I have died twice. I've killed 5 wandering traders, multiple villagers have died in accidents, and I've got multiple projects up to at least 33% completion. I would though just like to take the time to thank my patrons. I don't do this enough. You see, unlike other YouTubers, I run not 1 but 2 Minecraft servers and they are completely free to play on. There's no pay to win, nothing like that. Just join the Discord and you can play on these servers. Thankfully though, a small number of folks do contribute to the running costs, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you to those people that do that. And like I said, if you want to join my servers, join my Discord, link is in the description. And I'll be streaming from Abcraft on Monday night as well. So hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification icon, and then come join me on that stream. Anyway, folks, that's all I have time for today. Goodbye.